Hello and good day. Welcome to our video channel, God's Promises. And today's video will be Luke chapter 24. Let's get started now. Luke chapter 24 is the final chapter of the Gospel of Luke and recounts the events following the crucifixion of Jesus, including his resurrection and appearances to his disciples. The chapter is divided into three parts: the discovery of the empty tomb, the appearance to the disciples on the road to Emmaus, and the appearance to the disciples in Jerusalem. The chapter begins with the account of the women who went to Jesus' tomb early on Sunday morning to anoint his body with spices. When they arrived, they found the stone rolled away from the tomb and the body of Jesus missing. Suddenly, two men in dazzling clothing appeared to them and told them that Jesus had risen from the dead, just as he had predicted. The women returned to the disciples to tell them what they had seen and heard, but the disciples did not believe them. Later that same day, two disciples were walking to the village of Emmaus, discussing the events of the past few days. As they walked, a man joined them and began to explain the scriptures to them, revealing that the Messiah had to suffer and die before entering into his glory. When they arrived at the village, the man appeared to be going farther, but they urged him to stay with them because it was getting late. When he broke bread with them, their eyes were opened, and they realized that the man was Jesus, risen from the dead. He then disappeared from their sight, and they rushed back to Jerusalem to tell the other disciples what had happened. As the disciples were discussing these things, Jesus suddenly appeared to them in the room where they were gathered. They were startled and frightened, thinking they were seeing a ghost. But Jesus reassured them and showed them his wounds, proving that he was not a ghost but a real, physical being. He then ate with them and taught them from the scriptures, explaining how everything that had happened was foretold by the prophets. The chapter concludes with Jesus' ascension into heaven, as he led his disciples out to the vicinity of Bethany, blessed them, and was taken up into heaven. The disciples worshipped him and returned to Jerusalem, filled with great joy, and spent their time in the temple, praising God. The teaching application of Luke chapter 24 is the fulfillment of the prophecies about Jesus in the Old Testament. Throughout the Gospel of Luke, Jesus is shown to be the promised Messiah who came to save his people from their sins. His death and resurrection were not accidents, but rather part of God's plan of salvation for all humanity. The events of Luke chapter 24 demonstrate that Jesus is not only the promised Messiah but also the risen Lord who conquered death and gave hope to all who believe in him. Luke chapter 24 also teaches us about the importance of faith and belief in Jesus. The disciples' initial disbelief and doubt serve as a reminder that even those closest to Jesus struggled to understand the significance of his death and resurrection. However, once they encountered the risen Christ, their faith was strengthened, and they became witnesses to his resurrection. Additionally, Luke chapter 24 highlights the importance of sharing the good news of Jesus with others. The women who discovered the empty tomb and the disciples who encountered the risen Christ were filled with a sense of urgency to share the news of Jesus' resurrection with others. Their example serves as a reminder that we too are called to share the good news of Jesus with those around us. In conclusion, Luke chapter 24 provides a powerful account of the resurrection of Jesus and the impact it had on his disciples. It teaches us about the fulfillment of God's plan of salvation, the importance of faith in Jesus, and the urgency of sharing the good news of his resurrection with others. Overall, Luke chapter 24 serves as a powerful reminder of the hope and transformation that comes from belief in Jesus Christ and his resurrection. It challenges us to examine our own faith and to seek a deeper understanding and appreciation of the gospel message. Thank you for visiting us today. Please share with us your favorite Bible chapter below in the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help our channel grow. Looking forward to see you back here for our next video. Always take good care.